Good morning, children. So we are left with one more chapter, that is chapter 18, page number 121. Let us finish up that today, and with that, we will be concluding the syllabus for periodic assessment 2. Out of the 4 chapters, the notes for the first 2 chapters I've already shared with you. Please check the campus care, and the remaining 2 chapters you'll be getting it by today. So let us start with Political Administration of India, chapter 18. So by the time we finish this chapter, we will be getting to know about the different levels of the government in India, the functions of central and state government, and the judiciary. So let us first of all see the introduction. The government of India is officially known as a union government and is also known as the central government. Underline that. It was established by the Constitution of India and is the governing authority of a union of 29 states and 7 union territories. Underline that as well, which is collectively called the Republic of India. It is seated in New Delhi, the capital of India. I hope you know that the capital of our country and the number of states that we have, also the union territories. India is a democracy. Before its independence, its future leaders chose the liberal democratic system as the administration system of India. On 26 January 1950, India declared itself as a republic. On this day, the Constitution of India came into force. Underline that. When was the Constitution adopted? 26 January 1950. And also, when did India declare itself as a republic country? Independence, we got 15th August 1947, right, from the British rule. The government comprises of 3 organs, that is the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Organs, like in a human body, we have got different organs. So these are the main organs of the government. And all these organs, they are all at the same level. Okay, nobody is above anyone. The executive, the legislative, you can say they are in a form of a horizontal level. This is vertical, top to bottom, but this executive, legislative, and judiciary, horizontal, same level. 3 houses, you can say that. The executive is headed by the president, who is the head of the state and exercises his or her power directly or through officers subordinates to him. The legislative or the parliament consists of the lower house, that is the Lok Sabha, underline. The lower house is also called the Lok Sabha, and the upper house, that is the Rajya Sabha as well. That is what legislative is all about. The judicial has a Supreme Court at its apex, 21 high courts, and numerous civil, criminal, and family courts at the district level. Underline the number of high courts, 21 high courts. So the judicial comprises of the Supreme Court, High Court, and the other various type of civil court, criminal courts, family courts, and all. The head of the country is the president, under whom all the executive powers are vested. But the real administrator of the country is the prime minister. Underline that. The head of the country is the president, but however, the main administrator who runs the country, that's the prime minister. After the national elections are held, the president calls the most suitable candidate to form the government, which is known as the central government. This candidate is the head of the largest party in the parliament. That means, in a simple language, the party which wins the election with the majority of the vote, the suitable candidate member of that particular party is called to be the head of the government. In case the government resigns because of any reason, the president can call some other candidate to form the government. The president can also declare, according to government advice, new elections and, if necessary, an emergency state. So this is one thing, which even though you people are class 5, but it will be helping you if you can understand right now at this stage for your later stages. So I'll read this last sentence once again. The president can also declare, according to government advice, new elections and, if necessary, an emergency state. So basically, president is called the head of the country, but however, he has to be advised, by the government, and according to the advice of the government, if supposing the elections are to be held, or if a kind of a emergency situation has to be declared, he does all those, the president, but based on the advice of the government. The president has the right to be updated about crucial government matters and other rights like giving amnesty to prisoners, etc. The president has the power to appoint chief election commissioner, chief justice of Supreme Court, and high-ranking government officials. According to the constitution, elections are to be held once in every 5 years unless the Lok Sabha dissolves earlier or the other hand. Emergency is declared, and in such a case, Parliament can continue for another 1 year. Underline that last paragraph. So basically, we know in our country, elections are held after every 5 years. But however, except some unforeseen situations, some unavoidable, circumstances, which rarely takes place, like if the Lok Sabha dissolves earlier before its term, and emergency is declared in such case, and even this what you call Parliament can only continue for another 1 year. Next, the Indian Parliament. India has a parliamentary form of government based largely on the Westminster system of the United Kingdom. Unlike that. So this parliamentary form of government that we have, that is basically based on the Westminster system of United Kingdom. Suddenly with this point, I remember one line which I want to share with you. You see among your friends in your class, what happens is that you'll find even some of your friends may have lots of good habits, good characters in them. So we as a human being, what we must do, like see the parliamentary system of government that we have, we actually uh, took it from the Westminster system of United Kingdom. Likewise, we must also be able to learn or copy, follow the good things that the other people has, and not the otherwise. The legislature is the parliament. The Indian parliament consists of two houses, the lower house called the Lok Sabha and the upper house called the Rajya Sabha. I have already explained you this in the previous page we read. Let us see what is Lok Sabha. In short, in the national election, candidates are elected to the Lok Sabha. The candidates are elected in the territorial constituencies. There are 543 territorial constituencies. Mark that. Two members from the Anglo-Indian community are nominated to the lower house by the president. Mark that as well. Specially reserved for the Anglo-Indian community, two members. The law which obliges government officers to reserve 15% for the scheduled caste and 7% for the scheduled tribe also exists in the parliament. Mark that, 15% for the scheduled caste and 7% for the scheduled tribe. So in total 543. Out of 543, 2 for Anglo-Indian, and the remaining, out of this 15% is also reserved for SC and 7% for ST. At least 22% of the Indian parliament members belong to these two communities. 15 plus 7, 22. In the past, there was an attempt to frame a law to allow about 33% of reservation for women as parliament members. There was an attempt, as per the book says, but whether the attempt got successful or not, find it out. What I mean is that whether do we have reservation for women, 33% reservation for women in the parliament as a parliament members. Next we have Rajya Sabha. The upper house, Rajya Sabha, consists of 250 members. Mark it. Of these members, 230 are elected by the state legislature and about 15 are nominated by the president. Okay, out of 250, 230 they are elected by the state legislature, and 15, 230 plus 15, 245. Where are the remaining 5? Unlike the lower house, the upper house cannot be dissolved, but one third of its members resign after every 2 years. Most of the parliamentary activities like passing law, no confidence votes, budget bills, this take place in the lower house. So most of the activities of the parliament all are, being held in the lower house instead of upper house, not in the upper house. The upper house together with the lower house, they amend the constitution whenever it comes to any kind of modification of rules, policies, rules and regulations. These two houses together, along with the state legislature, they elect the president. Mark the last sentence. So the president is elected based on the choice of upper house, lower house, and also the state legislature. The Supreme Court of India. Supreme Court is the apex body of central judiciary in India. Presently, there are 23 judges against a maximum possible strength of 31. So at the max, the number of judges in the Supreme Court can be 31, not more than that. But presently there are 23. And as per the Constitution of India, the judge of the Supreme Court, they retire at the age of 65. Before this, before the retirement, the judge of the Supreme Court can also be terminated by the process of impeachment. Now, what is an impeachment? You'll come to know in your higher classes. There's a certain process. If the judge of the Supreme Court has to be removed, it is not so easy to be removed, and that particular process is called impeachment. For time being, just note this much. That is okay. The process of removal of the judge of the Supreme Court. That's impeachment. The main power of the Supreme Court are to take decision on the appeals and the public interest litigation. Public interest litigation, in short form, is also known as PIL. You might have heard in the news at times, or maybe you have come across this PIL in the newspapers and all, that lots of PIL are being filed in Supreme Court. That's public interest litigation. Next, the state government. The states have their own legislature. Some states have two houses and some only one house. The lower house, where most of the legislature activities happen, is called the Vidhan Sabha. Like in the parliament, we have got the lower house and the upper house, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Same ways goes with the state house. The lower house is called what? Vidhan Sabha. The state elections are held once in every 5 years, unless the state government is dissolved earlier. In these elections, members of the lower house are elected. Vidhan Sabha. Okay. Constitutionally, the figurehead of the state is the governor. Like constitutionally, the figurehead of the country is president. Now, the governor is appointed by the president according to the advice of the central government. The chief minister is the leader of the majority party in the lower house. This what you call Vidhan Sabha is quite similar to this Lok Sabha, and CM, you can say a copy of PM. Governor, you can say a replica of president. If you consider a state as a country, then you'll find that it's quite similar. After the state elections, the governor calls for a suitable candidate to form the government. In general, the governor has more legislative power at state level than the president at a national level. The governor has more legislative power at state level than the president at the national level. The governor can call for early elections in the state or fire the government if he thinks this government has failed or is unstable. That is something additional power. Huh? So that's why the book says that the government has got more power in comparison to the president at the national level. In the federal relation between the state and the central government has more authority on state matters than the state government. Now, when it comes to the relationship between the central and the state government, it is the center, or the so-called union government, which has got more authority, especially on even if the central, even it what do you call refers to a particular state. Finish was a small chapter. Yeah, it's a very small chapter, just 2 pages. For example, the central government has the right to redistribute the state borders without consulting the state government. Underline one of the special power of the central government in state matters. They can redistribute the state borders without consulting the state government. If the political condition in any state is not stable, the union government can call on president to declare president's rule in that specific state. That is another power of the center when it comes to exercising on a state. Then the government in that state is dissolved, which means an emergency rule is declared, and if necessary, the army is called to manage that state. The state legislature has 3 main functions. Mark that, important. Number 1, function means basically the work, okay, the main work. Number 1, to make law for the state. Number 2, to control the finances of the state. Number 3, to exercise check on the executive. Next, we have a state judiciary. It is a high court and lower courts. It is a part of the single judicial system for the whole country. The high court. The high court is the highest court in a state. Its presiding judge is called the chief justice, the head of the judge. There are a few more judges. The President of India appoints the Chief Justice of a High Court on the advice of the Chief Justice of India, that is the Chief Justice of Supreme Court, that is called Chief Justice of India. For appointing as a judge, a person must be a citizen of India and have enough experience as an advocate. Criteria, these are the criteria. Like when you want to appear for certain examination, or when you want to enroll yourself in certain competition, there are certain criteria, age limit, these, that, and all. Likewise, so in order to be this, what do you call, the judge of a high court, first of all, you must be a citizen of India, and at the same time, you must have enough experience as an advocate. He gets pay and allowances and retires at the age of 60. What was the retirement age for the Chief Justice of India, the Judge of Supreme Court? 65, right? What is that? Yeah, 65. And the High Court, 60. The High Court reconsiders the appeal filed against the decision of the lower court and gives its decision. The High Court supervises the working of the lower courts and gives them directions. Now comes the lower courts. Every state in India is divided into districts and tehsils. Underline that, districts and tehsils. Every district has a district judge. It is the highest court of the district. Under the district court, there are magistrates. There are magistrates of first, second, and third class. The session judge hears the criminal cases. Beside that, there are sub-judges. The revenue court hears the revenue cases. So different courts, revenue court for revenue cases, and what do you call this district judge. There are different, under the district judge, there are magistrates and a session judge who hears the criminal cases. So all these court, whether you talk about the district court, whether you talk about this session judge and all, they all come under high court. And we know what the court does, right? They punish. Like you get punishment at times for not following the rules, for breaking the rules, law. Likewise, the court punishes the lawbreakers. In page number 125, there are 29 names of the states of our country, and along with its capital. It's very important. It may be included for your examination, so you must mark it up. Okay, be thorough with that. And finish. Yeah, there are also union territories in the next page, 126. 7 union territories along with its capital. So this entire table, page 125 and 126, is very important. I'm telling you once again, you may get it in your examination. So with this, we come to the end of this chapter, and as I told you, the exercises, the answers for all the exercises, you'll be receiving it in the campus care. So God bless you all. Study well. With this, we finish the syllabus for the periodic assessment too. Take care, everyone.